Revolution. This is Brother Leonard, the Truth Seeker, coming to you with a few minutes of truth. Uh, as stated a couple weeks ago, I said that I'm back. And yes, right now I am back. And I wanted to share with you the reason why I'm back. First of all, just to catch you guys up a little bit about me during the time that I was off. I was going through great transition in my life, going through divorce, and that can take a toll. It does take a toll on, especially when you've been with someone for about 25 years, and things just doesn't work out, and next thing you know, you're going through the divorce process, and that takes a tremendous toll. And that was a part of the reason why I faded out of view with doing this channel. Another reason why I faded out of view was some of the stories that I had been covering over the past, at the time, about 7 years, had began to take a toll on my mental space. When you consistently deal with the issues that we come across, and understanding that it affects the lives of people, and these are real people, real lives, and it's just not some fictional preacher or just some celebrity preacher that may be out of reach. But when you've getting into getting into contact with some of these stories and some of these people, these lives that are being affected, it can definitely play a role in how you process things in your own life. So with that, I totally left the channel, left what I was doing, and just said, I gotta take a break from it. And I thought that it would be maybe a 2 or 3 month sabbatical. That 2 or 3 months turned into a year. Then I was like, okay. Then maybe after a year, then that's when going through the divorce stuff and trying to work things out with my ex-wife at the time wasn't working. So then now, we about 5-6 years later, and we're here. But the reason why I'm back, okay, I was on social media last month, and I saw a video floating around, and you're going to see the video after this. You know how I typically do with, if you were with me a long time ago, I give my commentary, and then I show you the video of what I'm talking about for the most part. So it comes. And most of you have probably already seen it anyways, but I wanted this to be my first video as I'm coming back. And one of the things that, as I'm coming back, I'm like, I can bash preachers all day, bash preachers, but from time to time, I need to actually give props when props are due. Today's one of those days. For the rest of, probably not for the rest of this week, but I'll be dropping videos probably about until Friday, at least, unless anything else comes up. I have about 6 more videos coming up after this, okay? But I wanted to put this one first. And the reason why I wanted to put this one first is because this is the reason why I am back, okay? A few weeks ago, at the National Prayer Breakfast, I believe it was, a particular pastor of an ecclesiastical Church of America, Episcopal, I'm sorry, I said ecclesiastical, but Episcopal Church of America, her name was Bishop Mariann Budde, okay, or Mariann Budde. And she had a platform where she spoke directly to, at the time, the president designate. I forgot how you say that, but he had not been sworn in at the time. And she spoke directly to him. And what she said really wasn't that bad. Not as bad as some of the people were making it out to be. Not as bad as what people were saying about women in leadership, women preachers, those sorts of things. But it wasn't what she said. It was who she was talking to. And it wasn't because of who she was talking to being the most powerful man in the world at this moment, but it was the fact that she had placed herself in a position to not only speak truth to power, but to speak it with conviction, with love, and asking for him to have mercy. To me, it was very prophetic in nature, because like the prophets of old, and I'm not talking about these, these what we call prophets today, these so-called soothsayers and all this other stuff, but I'm speaking of Nathan confronting David, Samuel being in position to confront Saul, Elijah talking to Ahab, or let's say Daniel standing before Nebuchadnezzar and King Darius. Prophetic in a way that when given opportunity to speak the truth to those in power, that moved me. Not only that day I teared up when I watched the video, but it moved me in a way that I hadn't felt like that in such a long time. And I began to think of what I was supposed to be doing. I struggled for the past few years of understanding what was my purpose here, what was my purpose in life. And I saw myself as being inactive and not doing much, just living day to day, trying to enjoy the day that I can, the best that I can. And yet I'm sitting up here watching her. And one of the things that got me was she was in the place to do it. Meaning, in other terms, sports terms, she was on the field. She had been playing the game. And when it was called for her play, she executed that play, ran the ball the best that she could. But the main thing was that she was in the game. Yet for me, for what I was supposed to be doing, not only with this channel, but just within what we were doing with the Church Folk Revolution, and then later on with what I was doing here on this YouTube channel, I was in the game. I was seeing how my presence here was making somewhat of a difference. I don't know, I'm not going to say that I was so impactful that I was doing X. Well, I don't need to do all that. There's nothing, I don't even know about any of that. But I was in the game. Okay? In the game. Now, I wasn't even in the damn stadium. How can I say I was in the game when I wasn't even in the stadium? I can't even say that I was on the bench saying, "Put me in, coach, put me in, coach." When I didn't even have a seat in the stadium. I didn't even buy a ticket. I'm outside watching on television. That moved me. And it was because of that. And then just so happens some of my old situations was bubbling up. Some of y'all know what I'm talking about. I will address that sort of thing later on. I have a lot to process with that. But that stuff started bubbling up, and I said to myself, I need to get back. I need to start this again. Because I need to be in a place where if it's called on me to make a statement that can be transformative or revolutionary, I need to be in the game. And not only that, I need to be doing what I do. Not only that, but I can't be just in the game here. I've got to be in the game, period. So, with that being said, I'm going to play the video for you. But a part of the game and a part of doing what I'm doing, I'm looking to build a community of people, believers, non-believers, but who are committed to understanding this thing that we are doing, which is not only pastoral accountability, but dealing with those and helping people who've experienced, hurt within the church. And not only looking to build an online community, but for those in Pittsburgh, PA, and surrounding area, I'm definitely looking to building a community, not start a church, but build a community where we can start looking into those sorts of issues, because there's a lot of us out here, that can use the support instead of being vilified and not understanding where we are as people who have been traumatized in church. I've come across a lot. And just when I sat up there and I started seeing people in my own timeline in this city talking about issues where they've been hurt in church. So I think that this is the lane that I needed to be in for the time that is here. So I know many of you have seen Bishop Budde or Bishop Budde. I know many of you have seen the video, but I am going to sit it at the end of this, so that you can get another look. And I look forward to the future here on this channel. This is Brother Leonard, the Truth Seeker. Revolution.
Let me make one final plea, Mr. President. Millions have put their trust in you. And as you told the nation yesterday, you have felt the providential hand of a loving God. In the name of our God, I ask you to have mercy upon the people in our country who are scared now. There are gay, lesbian, and transgender children in Democratic, Republican, and independent families, some who fear for their lives. And the people who pick our crops and clean our office buildings, who labor in poultry farms and meat packing plants, who wash the dishes after we eat in restaurants and work the night shifts in hospitals, they may not be citizens or have the proper documentation, but the vast majority of immigrants are not criminals. They pay taxes and are good neighbors. They are faithful members of our churches and mosques, synagogues, wadara, and temples. I ask you to have mercy, Mr. President, on those in our communities whose children fear that their parents will be taken away, and that you help those who are fleeing war zones and persecution in their own lands to find compassion and welcome here. Our God teaches us that we are to be merciful to the stranger, for we were all once strangers in this land. May God grant us the strength and courage to honor the dignity of every human being, to speak the truth to one another in love, and walk humbly with each other and our God for the good of all people in this nation and the world.